Good morning, finance class. We're going to do 5.2. Again, this is all on employment, and so it's some good information for you guys. This section is on pay periods and hourly rates. So it goes over the different pay periods that are most common. So some people get paid every week, but for the most part, most people get paid bi-weekly and semi-annually. So bi-weekly means every 2 weeks. Now, if you remember, there are 52 weeks in a year. So if I'm getting paid every 2 weeks, that'd be 52 divided by 2. So that would be 26 paychecks per year. And that number is going to be used a lot today. So if we're paid bi-weekly, that's 26 paychecks for the year. The second most common is semi-monthly, and that would mean twice a month, which you would think would be the same time, but it's actually not. If there are 12 months in a year and I get paid twice a month, then in that case they would be 24 paychecks per year. Okay. If you're paid every week, then that would be 52. But that is not as common as the other two. Now, there's something called overtime. I'm sure you're familiar with that word. That's if you work more than your regular hours. Some jobs get paid overtime, some don't. Teachers don't. Firefighters do. So it just depends on your job. Overtime, though, is usually paid time and a half, meaning it would be 1.5 times your regular hourly rate. Okay, so we're going to jump in. The examples aren't hard, but I tried to pick ones that looked like your homework. So number 1, Mr. Varillo is paid semi-monthly. His annual salary is $64,333. What is his semi-monthly salary? So $64,333 for the whole year. If you need to refer back, semi-monthly means 24 paychecks per year. So 24. If I divide that out, I got that each paycheck should be $2,680. It's said to round to the nearest cent, so my answer should have cents, like 54 cents. Okay, so if you're using your calculator, 64,333 divided by 24. Okay, I put a 54 cents because the 1 is less than 5, so it does not round up. Okay. Number 2, Mr. Frederick is paid semi-monthly. Her semi-monthly salary is $1641.55. What is her annual salary? So this is working backwards. This is how much she gets paid. Semi-monthly means 24 payments. So $1641.55 times 24 is $39,397.27. That's how much she gets paid for the year. All right, number 3, Julianne works as a waitress. Now, most waitresses are paid their regular hourly pay, and then they're also paid by tips. So it says her regular hourly rate is $15.50. So this says she usually works 40 hours per week. So 40 hours times how much she makes per hour. So you could do the same. I know some of you are already working, so how much you make per hour per the number of hours you work. Okay, so she makes $620 per week. If she works 50 weeks each year at this rate, what's her annual salary? So 620 times 50. Now remember, this is without tips, so this would be like her base salary. So times 50, and that is $31,000. It's pretty good as a waitress if you get paid that much per hour. Okay. Number 4, Mrs. Roper works 40 hours per week. Here's her hourly rate. When she works overtime, her rate is time and a half of her regular hourly rate. So remember in the beginning, I told you that time and a half is time, so 1.5. So I'm going to multiply this by 1.5, and that will tell us how much she's going to make for overtime. So if you multiply those out, I got $24.30 per hour of overtime. So that's pretty good, right? To work overtime, you get paid that much more. Mr. Ed earns $15.50 an hour. His regular hours are 40 hours per week, and he receives time and a half. Find his total pay for a week in which he works 45 hours. So let's break down that 45. Be 40 regular, and 5 would be overtime, right? And because 40 plus 5 is 45. So his regular rate is $15.50. His overtime rate would be $15.50 times 1.5, and we can just do it all at once. So 40 times $15.50, I got $6.20. And then 5 times 15.5 times 1.5, sorry about that, I got $116.25. So for the total, I would add that up, and it says it doesn't have us rounding it. So I wonder why I entered it differently. Because I entered it wrong. So the total pay, if you add these together, would be $736.25 for 45 hours. So that is in 1 week. All right, next one. Chrissy worked 40 hours plus 8 overtime for time and a half. Her gross pay was $7.85. What was her hourly rate? So we're going to have to work backwards for this one. So 40 times her hourly pay, right, plus 8 hours of overtime times our hourly pay times time and a half. This equaled $785.20. So it's the same way we solved the other one. We're just having to solve for what her hourly rate is. So we're going to simplify 8 times 1.5. So I have 40x plus, if you enter 8 times 1.5, I got 12. So this is now 12x equals $785.20. If I add these two together, I get 52x. And to solve for that, I would then divide by 52. So I get, if I divide $785.20 divided by 52, I get 15.1. So in dollars, that would be $15.10. That is how much she was getting paid per hour. Number 7. 7 is slightly different. This is for overtime at double time. So that would be times 2, right? It's not time and a half. This would be a complete double time. Her gross pay was $7.34. What was her hourly rate? Now, I didn't mention it before because it's in the book, but gross means how much is she going to make before they take the taxes out, okay? So we're going to set this one up very similar. 40 times x plus 4 times x times 2, because she's making double time, not time and a half, equals 734.40. So this gives me, if I multiply these, 4 times 2, I get 8x. So this is 48x equals 734.40. And I'm going to divide by 48 to get how much she was paid per hour. And so if you divide that, I got $15.30. 734.40 divided by 48. I got exactly 15.3. And this is in dollars because this is how much she's getting paid per hour. Next one. Mr. Harrison earns $32 per hour. He regularly works 40 hours per week. So 40 times 32 would be his regular. If he works 26 overtime at time and a half, so that'd be 32 times 1.5, that would be what he makes in overtime. And it wants his total. So I'm going to enter all of these. So 40 times 32 gives me $12.80. That's his regular pay. And then he works 26 times 32 times time and a half. So $12.48. So his total pay for that period of time is $2,528. Oh, sorry, this asked, it did not ask for total, my apologies. It asked, would his overtime pay exceed his regular gross pay? And no, it's a little less. Okay, I'm only going to do a couple more that were in the in your homework, so I designed these to copy that. So in 2003, Carlos earned $340,000 for pitching for the Chicago Cubs. In 2009, he earned almost $19 million. So let's talk about 2003. What was his salary per game? Well, he made $340,000 for 32 games. So I would divide to find out how much he made per game. So if you divide that, he made $10,625 per game, which is still amazing because that's a couple hours of your life. But let's move on to 2009. In 2009, he had $18,750,000 and he pitched 28 games, which is said right here. Okay, so if I divide that, oh boy, do I get a high amount per game. If you divide that, he made almost $700,000 per game. It's insane. Tells you what America values, right? Athletic ability. So, did he earn more in 2009 than he did for the entire? Did he earn more per game than the entire 2003 season? Yeah. He made this for an entire season in 2003. By 2009, which I'm guessing he was a really good pitcher, otherwise why would they pay him any more? He's now making this much per game. Pretty crazy. All right. Two more. Leah is paid semi-monthly, so that's 24. How many fewer paychecks does she receive in 2 years? So times 2 years equals 48. Compared to someone who is paid weekly. Okay, well, if you're paid weekly, that'd be 52 times 2 years, which would be 104. So she's getting paid how many fewer times? Well, 104 minus 48, 56 fewer times. All right, so 3 more. Number 11 is based on a raise. So, of course, getting a raise is amazing. So here's the last year. Here's the salary. This year, she's now earning 96. So what was her weekly? Remember, there are 52 weeks in a year. So I'm going to take that salary of 8 because this says last year. So pay attention to that vocabulary. $88,441 divided by 52. And I get that her weekly salary was 17, and it says near a cent, so 1,779 cents. If you need help rounding, I made it 79 cents because you look to the number to the right, and 8 would round that 8 up. What is her weekly salary this year? So that's the 96,402 divided by 52. And I got $18.53 and 88 cents. So on a weekly base, how much more does she earn? So this year minus last year, she's earning $153 more per week. Per week, because it said on a weekly basis. All right, number 12. Again, this is like the one in your homework. If I've bought $2 lottery tickets every week for 10 years, so $2 times 52 weeks times 10 years. That's from the first sentence. 2 times 52 times 10 means that I have spent $1,040 on lottery tickets. If this week I won $1,000, compared to my investment, was it worthwhile? No, because technically I only made $40. Boo. Last one. This is a waitress. She makes $14 an hour, but she also receives 15% in tips. So again, this is like a problem in your homework. So how much will she make without tips? That would be 8 times 14, which I got $112. If she served 20 tables for a total in bills of $1,200, how much will she make with tips for the 8 hours of work? So it would be the $112 she made for the hours plus 15% of the amount of her bills. So 112 plus 0.15 times 1,200, and I got she would make $292 for that one day. That's pretty good. And that completes this section. Good luck with your homework.